Okay, I think the music is not coming anymore, so I'm gonna start. So, welcome again, everyone. Thank you for joining. First of all, it's a pleasure to talk about Stack with you and to talk about the vision, coming features, what is in the roadmap, and how the roadmap looks like, and so on. So let's start. But before I dive into the vision and the future of Stack, I would like to start from the past, how it all started. Most probably, you already know how it all started, but I wanted just to emphasize the beginning of Stack. So Stack was just an experiment. It was a weekend project. There was no any intention to build a browser or something like that. And the first version of Stack looked like something like this. It could open only 7 applications, only 7 social media applications, and you could not even resize the cards. You could not open a custom URL or anything like that. So you can see from this demo that there was no any thoughts about changing the way we browse in the internet or build a new browser and so on. So the main reason I'm telling this and emphasizing this is that it kind of feels like Stack was born rather than created intentionally. And sometimes we ask in our team that is, are we building Stack or are we exploring it? This question might sound a little bit weird, but I hope it will be more clear in a bit. So from the day one, we were thinking and discussing a lot what is Stack. It started as a productivity tool, and very soon it turned into a browser. But we really didn't like the word browser and describing Stack as a browser because browsers are for browsing, and browsing means like going from one website to another. And Stack, the websites look more like a web applications. Stack looks more like an operating system. It puts websites into this kind of window-like cards, and also it has the space bar that also looks like a dock on macOS or the menu bar or the taskbar on Windows. So it looked like more operating system, and also like browsers are becoming today's modern operating system. So we were like discussing a lot: is the browser, maybe it's a both. But one day we didn't stop there. So one day we saw something, and what we saw, we really liked it. So let me tell you what we saw. So this is the old Stack Legacy. And as you can see in the design of Stack does not have the boundaries. It doesn't have borders. The only border and the limitation Stack has is the limitation of the operating system itself, like the window. You cannot go beyond that, right? You cannot go beyond the screen or the monitor. But Stack itself does not have any boundaries inside. And we were asking, like, what is this space? I mean, these cards are hanging somewhere there, right? So what is this space where these cards are hanging? And in Stack, you can see that, like this in first stack, what we call Stack, cards are aligned horizontally, and then you can go down where you have another row of cards, and then another, and so on. So it should look like something like this, right? Um, and there is this kind of notion in Stack that the cards are not going anywhere. When you scroll, the cards are still there, and the only thing you are changing is your viewport, like you are moving the camera and looking this environment from a different angles. So then we thought, if we were able to put our heads into the monitor and look around, what would we see? Of course, it's impossible to do that. So another way, what would we see if we like zoom out, like fly a little back and see entire Stack from little far? So when we did that, we saw something like this, which was quite obvious, right? And this is my space. This is what we called spaces as well. This is my own space where I have my cards arranged. And then we thought, if this is a like kind of a space, is it that dark, like single color background, or it's like in a real world, like gradient colors. So then we put some colors and we got this, which looks much better, and which really looks like a space rather than some surface of the dog. In Stack, in old Stack, we have this feature called spaces, and you can have multiple spaces for different purpose. For example, in my case, I have this read later space. I have also personal space, and whenever I switch to personal space, all the cards are changing, and you can see as many spaces. I can create as many spaces as I want for different purposes. Then we asked, where are those spaces here in these three dimensional world? Where are those spaces located? They should be somewhere around, right? So we zoomed out again, and we saw something like this. Like all my spaces are here, organized into one place in this three-dimensional universe. So it is very it is very similar to the house. Like the metaphorically, it looks like my house with different rooms where I have different environments for specific purposes. For example, for readings, I have a specific room where I can go. I have like environment for that, and so on. So if this is my place in this three-dimensional world, a virtual world, there should be other stackers also having their cards and their spaces set up somewhere here, right? So what would we see again if we zoom out, and then we would see something like this? We would see other people having their own places in this three-dimensional world. And this was the moment where we kind of realized that we saw Stack as a whole. So we realized that Stack is not a browser. Stack is not a like computer program, but rather Stack is a place. It's some virtual place, which does not depend on the technology. So your desktop application basically is one of the ways to get to this place, to get to this Stack universe. We called it Stack universe. And in the future, when we will have a mobile application, the mobile application will take you to the same place. And in the future, if, like, for example, VR is the mainstream hardware, the VR will take again to the same place. It will take you to Stack Universe. So I hope now that question I asked, I mentioned in the beginning makes more sense. It really feels like this process that we went through was an exploration rather than creation. We didn't create like all this. Every step that we are making forward is based on some logic behind, and then some things make sense, some doesn't make sense, and whatever makes sense, we kind of feel that it makes sense. So this is tech, and I'll just add few words here. Like if we look from a different perspective, what is this place? It's actually the internet. If someone asked us, can you draw the internet, we would draw like something like this. This is the internet where we hang out, where we connect to each other, where we work, where we create, and so on and so forth. So during last before I move on to the features and the prototypes, I want to mention like those three main concepts of Stack that we worked with our friend company Holy Motors. They helped us to extract all this information that we had in our heads and put it on the paper and put it on the pixels. So we came up with these three main concepts. The first concept is that Stack is a spatial browser. And indeed, it is a spatial browser. I just traveled a lot in this three-dimensional space. And if Stack is a spatial browser, where we have our own places here and there, it is super logical that we should be able to connect with each other, right? To go to each other's places and work together and maybe watch movies together and so on. So this leads us to the second concept of Stack, which is Stack is a multiplayer browser. And the third concept of Stack is a mindful browser. So when we say mindful browser, it's also a huge topic to explore, and we are exploring it. But what we mean in that is that mindfulness is not a feature or like UI element of Stack. It's more like an inner compass of Stack. So when we say a mindfulness, it means that we want to create or we want to explore the place where people living here or working here are mindful. And what we mean in this is that they are aware whenever you are in this place. This is the environment where you are aware of your surroundings, what information is around you, and you can truly focus on a specific thing whenever you want and be in the zone. So today, internet really became a messy place. A lot of corporations or algorithms, so many things are trying to catch our attention. So we we want to create something completely different, like that makes you as a person in the first place, and you are the one who's deciding what you should be doing and what should be around you. So this is tech. This is the vision that we have. This is where we want that. This is where we are. This is what we are exploring. And this webinar today is also one huge step ahead in this exploration. So we want all of you to be involved. It's super interesting. It's super exciting. Every moment we find something, it really brings a lot of joy and happiness. So let's move now to the practical things. So the story sounds cool. It's nice, but on end of the day, what value will it bring to me? How can this reflect in the product that we use every day for our own work and for our personal stuff? So the first feature I want to present to you is fly mode. Many of you, whoever is using Stack, whoever tried Stack Next, we already have this fly mode there. So I will just explain again. So fly mode is either I press Command Escape, or if I press the top bar of the card, you will see this blue outline around the card. Whenever you see this blue outline, it means that you are in the fly mode. And when I'm in the flight mode, I can, for example, navigate through cards with, if I press A, it will go left. If I press D, it will go right. If I press W, it will go up, and so on. But other than that, I can do some cool stuff, such as, for example, I can resize the card to 50% by pressing 5. If I press 6, 60%, 7, 8, 9, and 0 will be 100%. And so on. There will be more and more functions available in this fly mode as we move on. But today, what we want to introduce you is this little thing that I will be showing you now. Um, so if we look Stack from the side, um, this is my space. This is how my space would look like. And this is where I sit. And when I'm scrolling horizontally, this guy is moving right and left. This is actually the NFTs that we released. Like your NFTs also comes with the spaceship that you are sitting in. And when I'm scrolling horizontally, it moves like this. If I'm changing stacks, it's going down and up. Now, if I'm sitting in the spaceship, then, and if I'm in the fly mode, it is logical to have something like to have like steering wheel, uh, and which allows you to navigate in this three-dimensional world. And this is how it looks. We called it yoke. Yoke is the name of the steering wheel in the spaceships. And whenever you are in the fly mode, this yoke will appear. If I go into the content, it disappears, so it doesn't bother you. Another good thing is that the design is it's designed in a way that it does not take your attention all the time. So whenever I see here, either I can click on D and I can navigate to the right, or I can click A, navigate back. I can go down, up, and then Also here, the good thing is that I can see all available actions that I have. I can reload by pressing just R. I can put the card on sleep with Z. I can resize, I can close. And of course, we will be adding more and more functions to this. This is a Framer demo. I will move to Figma demo right now. So you have these little interactions here. When you press it, you really feel that you have touch this wheel or steering wheel. It has these little interactions that is fun. And also, I want to show you one thing, which will not be included in this update, but it's also your opinion will be very interesting about this. Designs also are not final, but if I click this configuration, I get all the other actions that can be placed inside Yoke. So basically, you will be able to configure it on based on your needs. I can drag and drop this. I cannot do it in this prototype, but you can drag and drop this copy URL or duplicate or mute and merge and so on, and build your own Yoke based on your needs. And one last thing I want to mention about this feature is that Yoke is in that store in that fairy tale in the Stack universe. Yoke is part of your spaceship, right? And the spaceships should be different designs. They should have a different interiors, right? So Ika already had fun and designed a really cool Yoke version of Yoke, which is like retro looking Yoke. And in the future, we can design different types of yokes, and it will help you to express yourself and really create the environment that you will enjoy being in. This is, of course, we had fun, but this is something that we are thinking. Maybe we should be having different schemes or different types of designs in here. Now, I'd like to move to the next feature that we are working on. Most of the technology challenges are already fixed. It's time to implement. So again, if I'm navigating like on X and Y axis, I should be able to fly back and forward, right? I should be able to navigate on Z axis as well. So this leads us to the next feature, which is called Space View. So in this normal view, if I press Command E, I go to the space view. And then in space view, I can navigate with WASD super quickly. I can press enter, go back to the card, go back, fly in, so on. And in the first version of this feature, there will be only navigation will be available. But you can imagine how much we can do in this space, in this view. Like you can reorder cards, you can select multiple and then close them together, delete them, or you can like merge two cards together. Basically, there will be a lot of possibilities on the screen. And I'm personally, this is my favorite one, and I'm looking forward to it so much. For the next feature, I don't have a separate prototype, but we don't need though. So it's about spaces. So in Legacy, I just showed you spaces that we had, how we managed spaces in Stack Legacy. In Stack Next, we are thinking something like this. So on the left side in the space view, you will see the list of spaces, and you can create new space, edit space, and so on. And whenever I change, I move to design space, I get this nice animation as well, and as well like each space can have its unique theme that will help you to quickly identify in which room you are at that moment. So this is another feature that is coming that we are working and we want to release by the end of this year. And yeah, that's all. Now, the last prototype I want to present to you is something related to the browsing. It's not directly related to Stack Universe and the spatialness, but it's something related to browsing. And this is something that we've been thinking a lot to solve this puzzle, and I think we found some good solution. So if someone asked us to draw the pyramid of needs from the browser, probably it would look like this. So the fundamental need from the browser is the browsing itself. So if Chrome is your default browser, if you want to change it with some other browser, first of all, it should fulfill those things that Chrome can do. And and after, when you browse but your tabs become super messy, you have 100 tabs open, that's when you need organization layer. And once everything is organized, my environment is working well, I can browse, I can organize, that's when the collaboration takes the place. I mean, I want to invite now someone to my place and do stuff together. So Stack has this layer very strong. Organizing is the strong side of Stack, but the browsing is definitely not the strong side of Stack. So the main reason is that you can still browse in Stack. I can Command T and then Google something. It will open the card on the right. But the problem is that people don't want to mess up with their space, because space is like, I set up um, for my needs, and I have organized my set. I don't want to mess it up. So while thinking about the solutions, we went back to the god, or the father of the browsing, like Chrome. Chrome, in my opinion, our opinion, is the best browser like technology that we have created in last 20 years for the browsing. And then we looked in tabs. Are tabs that bad? Why tabs are so bad? And when we thought about it, actually tabs are not bad, but many tabs are bad. If I need only 5 websites every day, I don't need any more. I think that Chrome is the best solution for me. I don't need to use and move to entire new universe in order to use 5 websites every day, right? But today's reality is different. We work with multiple web applications, and this space is not enough anymore. But since we realized that tabs are good, but they should be limited, we came up with this idea or inside Stack. So imagine you have this is my Discord card, let's say, and the guys shared some links here. And when I clicked while holding the command, on the top you will see this small icon, file icon appeared. If I click another link, you will see another one. So probably guessed what this is. If I click this, these are like tabs inside the card. So it's kind of a mini browser inside each Stack card. And this allows you to organize the information based on the context. All the links shared in the Discord. If I remember, someone should send me the link on Discord. I know where to find it. It's not lost in this panel of tabs. Really cool thing. What you can do is by pressing just this button, it will clean it up, and you are back to your Discord card alone. Um, and one more thing you can do is, let's say, yeah, tabs are cool, but I want my old experience that I have in Stack. You can expand those tabs, and then if you scroll, you will see those cards that are inside those cards. And of course, you between them in a fly mode with WASD and do pretty much anything. If you want to keep any card, if any tab, you can press the pin, and it will like detach from that card, and you will have a separate card for that. Once you are done, you can collapse it again, and that's it. Another good use case is a Googling experience, like researching experience. So for example, I searched something, top VCs in Amsterdam, and I opened several links. I opened many of them, and I closed some of them are interesting, and I did a small research. And now what I have is that I have one card that holds all entire this research that I have done. Now what I can do is that I can I can just save this card, give it a name like Top VCs in Amsterdam. That's it. Forget about it. And whenever I reopen this saved card, it will open with all its tabs. It means that all my I can save entire research. Another thing I can do is that I can just share it with my colleague, and they will receive a card that will come with these tabs, and they don't need to do any other research anymore. So there are a lot of good use cases that this design is really cool. One of them, for example, is the meeting. If I'm having a meeting on Google Meets, for example, or whereby that we are having, and during the meeting, there's many times we share a lot of links, right? Those links will be collected in the single card, and once the meeting is over, you don't lose those links. You can just save it and close it, and then whenever you want to get back to those links, and which personally it's always my problem. I always lose those links when I have the meetings in Chrome or other browsers. So to summarize, it solves several problems. First, the information is organized contextually, like Discord links in Discord card, like Twitter links in Twitter card, and so on. Googling, it gives you an option to isolate your researches separately, so you don't mess up these links with each other, which is also cool. And the meetings, I just explained the use case. So this was the last prototype I wanted to show you. We also have very nice prototypes about the multiplayer, but it would be wise to do those to explore the multiplayer part in a different session together, and do some good preparation for that. Now let's go to roadmap. Everything sounds cool, but when? That was the question that we all we don't have a good reputation. But that has a lot of reasons behind. But today, things are a little different. So we started rebuilding Stack Next around 1.5 years ago, and the biggest problem in rebuilding Stack Next was the technology is completely different. We have built a native browser, which apparently is completely different story than building a classical web application that was Stack Legacy. Stack Legacy is basically an Electron application, classical Electron application, which is a website. And Stack Next is completely different approach. It's a native application using native components, and estimations was not correct because we didn't have experience how to build a native browser. But today we came to the point where we solved most of the technology challenges, and finally we can work on features. And that's something that we have a lot of experience though. So now let's go through the roadmap. This is where we are. It's end of November. Next week will be December. So next week we want to release an update which includes a lot of bug fixes, which you helped to discover. And first of all, thank you very much for that. And in the next update, we want to include this yoke and test it out, how it feels, how it works. And then this is a super important date for us. I will get back to this after I go through it. So we want to release another big update before the end of this year. And in this update, we want to include spaces, the space view, onboarding experience, bug fixes, of course, and lifetime deal purchase flow. I'll get back to this in a short. And on that date, once we release this update, we want to onboard a lot of people in Stack Next. So there are around like 20K Stack Legacy users, active users. We have around 17K waitlist subscribers of Stack Next. Basically, what we want to do is that we want to give access to StackNext to all of them. Of course, we will be using some filters, but the idea is to onboard as many people as possible in StackNext so they can get value out of it. The next, once we do it, there will be probably quite some cleanup period. We need there with these big features, there will be bugs for sure. But in this stage, there should not be any crucial bug. So we'll be releasing some pre-updates before to make sure we don't have any blocking issues. But then what we need to do is we need to clean things up, because with all these features, if we add tabs as well, I think the first chapter of Stack, like single player Stack, is done. This is what we think is like single player Stack should work. And if we have minimum amount of bugs, we will refresh some UI, we will make it cleaner, we will add animation. So there will be like cleanup period after this update. And somewhere around in February, another chapter of Stack as a product will start. And this chapter includes extensions and multiplayer. And extensions is not something that we will be starting in February. Extensions is something that we already started 1 month ago. And extension consists of two parts. One is we need to solve a technology challenge, which we are already working, and we have amazing progress there, which means that we need to bring this extensions layer from Chromium into Stack. Daniel's already working on that. And then we estimate that in January, that part will be done, like the native part will be done. And in February, we'll be starting already implementing, like integrating that inside Stack. And the second most, like the biggest thing that is coming is the multiplayer experience. This is something that I want to talk a little bit more. So many people in our during the NFT campaign, because of like not really clear communication, thought that we already have multiplayer browser. We all like Stack is already multiplayer, but that was our fault. We concentrated on the vision a lot, and the main reason was that we. So let me start from again. When we started rebuilding Stack to the native technology, at that time we decided let's fundraise when we release native Stack. Let's fundraise with this same way as we did in 2020. Let's sell lifetime packages of Stack, and that sounded a good idea. Then David, our co-founder, came up with the idea: how about NFTs? Let's do it with NFTs. And with all this ideas about Stack Universe and the place, it made so much sense. Like your place based in this virtual world is something that belongs to you, right? And if there is a proof of this ownership, then it makes a lot of sense, right? With your NFT, you own your own space in this universe. And not only the space, you own your own spaceship with a very unique design, right? And all this story about Stack Universe and NFT made so much sense that we decided, okay, we have to do it this way. And that's why we decided to do NFTs. But here was the problem. The product was delayed because of our incorrect estimations. And when we when we launched NFT campaign, we didn't have like many users on StackNext. StackNext is still in beta. We didn't have users, so all our focus went into the vision and the story about Stack. And that's where I think we made some mistakes. The communication was not that clear that all those things it's about to come rather than we already have it. And that's why one of the reasons probably NFT campaign like failed. It went miserably. We sold like 200 NFTs and we issued like 4,200. But then we realized I mean, NFT campaign failed, but we didn't fail. We have so much. Finally, after working 1.5 years, we have the application that we really love. We like it ourselves a lot. We have entire this we did rebranding and visualize this vision into like colorful universe, right? We met so many great people like you, like community grew a lot, and we got a lot of supporters. So definitely we don't feel like we failed. What failed was NFT campaign, like in a classical understanding. But NFT was like this NFT campaign was not meant to go this way. As I mentioned, the NFT was a technology that we wanted to use to sell lifetime deals, the ownership of your place in Stack Universe. And since this campaign didn't go well, we could not raise money from this, and we had a lot of bets on this fundraising, and that's why we are we are changing our like we that's why we are hurrying up to release like the greatest update in Stack Next and onboard as many people. And in case if Stack will bring the value to the people, if people will see that this application brings them value, and if they believe that this application can become something in the future, like big in the future, only in that case we will ask people, now you can buy lifetime, now you can buy a place for lifetime just paying for $120. So that's why we want to onboard this many people to communicate and show them that we have created Stack finally. So I talked a lot, but that's our current state. That's what we already have. That's where we are heading to. That's what Stack is. And please now feel free to ask any questions, and let's move to debates or like discuss any topics that you want. Thank you very much. Do.
Thanks, man. That was a really good presentation that cleared a lot of things, at least for me. And I really appreciate the transparency and taking responsibility for the things. Like, you guys are amazing. I love the project and where it's heading. And,
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll let someone else speak if they have, and I'll ask later if something more comes up. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone? Any questions? Anyway, we will be discussing a lot in the Discord. Answers about how you handle making the NFT limitations actually real. Like, how do we know that there is only 44 NFTs and not more? You own the browser and you can add as much as you like here. Absolutely. If we manipulate, there will be shareable passwords websites. Okay, I'll answer the first question of Perseus. That's a very, very interesting question that we had ourselves. So to answer that question, I think the best would be to explain what this Stack NFT is today. So Stack NFT today is not just a lifetime access to Stack, but it's a bundle of different things. First, it is a space. It is this. Let me use my presentation here. It's this one, right? One second. So yeah. Anyway, it is first of all. This is what you get when you buy a space, and you own the space. In the later you can sell it out or rent it out, do whatever you want, and you get up to 55 collaborators based on the rarity of NFT. And your space comes with 3 different themes, unique themes that no one else will ever have. The second thing that you get is the spaceship. And the spaceship, what does it mean to own a spaceship in the product is that first you can set this as a custom cursor that will be only yours and no one else can have the same one. And we are thinking also to this NFT will come with the custom skin of Yoke that will be only yours and no one ever can have it. On top of that, the revenue sharing basically is, it's like, I sometimes in the team call it like work permitting Stank universe. So there will be a lot of work to be done in this universe, right? Like onboarding other people, like sharing the words, like sharing, like doing some marketing and stuff. So once we have those kind of jobs, anyone, any NFT holder can just participate, do the stuff, and earn some money. So this NFT is a bundle of these three main things. In the future, we might release other NFTs, and this that idea actually sounds very interesting. That's something also we can discuss with the community as well. So what? Why not we? I mean, would not be it cool to release NFTs only for spaceships and not like lifetime deals? Maybe NFTs as themes. And if you purchase the theme, you have a unique theme, or you have the unique cursor, or you have unique design of yoke. And when you get bored, you can sell it out, right? And you can sell or buy, trade with these parts of stack in this universe on OpenSea without our involvement at all. So I don't think we can promise that we will never ever release other NFTs that will give you access, lifetime access to the stack place. But what we can, what I think will happen is that we will never offer, like we will never sell the same offer again. Like right now, this NFT includes a lot of things like revenue sharing, unique cursors and mouse, and spaceships up to 55 collaborators. Maybe in the future we will release another collection which will have up to, I don't know, 10 collaborators, for example, and that's it. Maybe we'll sell themes as NFTs. Maybe we'll sell mouse cursors as NFTs. I think this is a topic that we can discuss with the community. That's something that should be discussed in the community. Like if this is the universe where we are all part of this, we need to all, like, become a member and decide whether we should do that or not. So yeah, there is no guarantee that this will be the only collection that we Stack will ever release. It's basically, it's like a fundraising. We have this. There is a land we found, and you found, and to fundraise and to support this exploration, we right now we are selling these houses. But selling is not a sustainable business model for any company. Like it's always better to rent it out, or which means a SaaS model, right? So at some point, if we have enough funding, like selling will stop for sure, and we need to move to the recurring revenue in order to support the business, right? So maybe in the beginning we will sell many of them, but at some point we have to stop selling things and just rent it out. And the good thing is that if you buy this house today, uh, and if Stack is renting it out for $10 a month per user, anyone can. I mean, even we will implement it in the application that anyone can rent it out for like any other price. So it will become like a real market. It will become like a market in the real world. I hope I covered your question. Just to not skip other question, if will be multiplayer, there will be shareable passwords for website. Can you tell more about multiplayer? Yeah, I will tell more about multiplayer. So multiplayer is is a really broad topic. It's it can be it can start from password sharing, and it can finish in like multi-cursor, 100 people on the same page interacting with the same website. So it's a huge topic, and there are tons of ideas like sharing passwords, sharing bookmarks. For example, I had other prototypes as well, but I don't have it at hand, so I will not spend your time. But this this space can be shared, right? This, let's say this is an office. It's not a house, but it's an office, and many people can join this space at the same time. So everything that is shared inside this space, whether it's password, whether it's bookmark or files, for example, can be accessible to anyone, of course with the permission management in mind. That's one part of it. Another is that if we all live in this universe, it should be easy to connect to you and share, for example, share the link or share the file or share anything. That's another part of multiplayer, like collaboration. But also there is even cooler things that we already have, like did experiments that we can be on the same space at the same time, which means that when you open a card, it will open for me as well, and we can interact with this card at the same time. So that's whole another level of collaboration and multiplayer. So it's something that, like, ideas are a lot, and all of them needs to be tested, all of them needs to be challenged. And it doesn't mean that one day stack will become multiplayer like on one update. It will be a gradual shift. First, maybe we will start with link sharing, then we'll start with screen sharing, for example, and so on and so forth. So let's see how that process will go. That's something we need to explore together. All right. Next question. We can see the screenshot of the spaceship in my version of Next. Absolutely, yeah. Your point is super valid. We need to show. Uh, I mean, you should somehow feel that this spaceship belongs to you, and this is yours. This is your unique one, and that's something in the roadmap for sure. We'll be adding those little details and themes and some kind of connection that you know that this is your NFT spaceship. And yeah, we'll be working on that. Additionally, on my Mac, I cannot seem to update the version, so I think we can move this in Discord, so we'll help there better. Okay, will do. I understand. I think it would be great to have the capability to add your background to your space, the one that is on your art. I have previously suggested trade thought about the there is a lot of potential you could have with the concept of making the universe itself more customizable with, yeah, absolutely, there there is no limit, right? It's a like, you know, you can do pretty much anything. The only, again, compass for us will be to not to make this place messy again, like the internet is. It should stay minimalistic. Because it's kind of a metaverse of metaverses, because you have this, for example, Sandbox is a metaverse, like it's a web application, so it's like a hall, it's like a waiting room where you have a lot of rooms to enter and do some fun stuff there. So there will be a lot of different types of metaverses for sure. Some will be for fun, some for watching movies, or some for work. And Stack should remain the most natural one, like most, utopic, most mindful and clean one. So yes, there will be a lot of options to add custom backgrounds, custom themes, but that should not go beyond the core design and core of Stack itself. Uh, just like Steam has now animated profile backgrounds or something. I missed a lot of, sadly, so sorry. This question touched on something that was spoken earlier. No worries, mate. Yeah, no, you can watch recording. We will share the recording as well, so you can watch from the beginning as well. Can we expect a new update patch soon regarding essential features? Like, yes, history. Oh, that's right. George just told me you should read aloud. Can we expect a new update patch soon regarding essential features like history, etc.? Yeah, in this presentation, I didn't cover those things, like, for example, history, bookmarks, and this kind of stuff, because it was mostly about like big topics. This essential stuff is something that will be ongoing all the time, like download manager, for example. We will, like, at least for the coming 2 months, we will not be working on those because we will be focusing on the spaces and to do some fundraising with Stack Next. But of course, they are in our roadmap and we will be working on those. Also, really digging in the idea of being able to buy Spaceship as NFTs and similar stuff like that. Then you don't need to buy another lifetime NFT and you could still switch the mouse. Exactly. Let's say release another. That also what we can do is like we can partner with some other companies. For example, Headspace, which is a meditation application. They have very strong visuals. We partner with Headspace and let's release around like 500 spaceships with a Headspace design, and it will cost like $20. It won't cost like 120. It's just a spaceship. So yeah, you can do pretty much anything, like release themes separately, release spaceships separately, and so on. For any NFTs, how does the deployment seek to elevate the project and provide meaning to the holder? Will it be an extension of Web2 concepts, skins, founder perks, some things to think about? Yeah, I mean, this ideas about the good thing also, like the great thing about our past experience and stepping into this NFT world is that we learned a lot about this technology. And yeah, we are 100% convinced that this is technology of the future, like the smart contracts and the Web3 technology as a technology is just amazing. Even though it has a not the best reputation as a technology is super. So we need to explore there a lot. We need to learn a lot how things should work correctly. I think there is no a clear answer there, but we need to do it. We need to explore together. Uh, Also, I thought it would be great. It would be handy to have grouping tabs in the same stack, just like how Vivaldi provides such feature. I don't know how Vivaldi is doing that, but yeah, we can continue discussion of tabs in the Discord, and when time comes, I think we can do some more interaction there. Can I ask for the current users of Legacy and with them soon getting access to Next? Do you have it set to they have a limited experience with the free version of Stack of Next and something that will entice them to buy the NFT? Yes. Um, we have to make a clear communication there as well. We need to be very clear what should they expect. But the good thing about that is that whoever legacy user tried Stack Next, like many of them are not returning back to legacy, even though legacy has, I don't know, maybe 60% more features than Next. So rewriting Stack was not only it was a absolutely amazing opportunity for us to use our old knowledge, what worked, what didn't work, and in Next you have only those things that worked. There are tons of things that didn't work, and we are not going to implement them in Legacy. So it kind of feels that Legacy has much more features, but in practice, that is the spaces, multiple spaces. The only thing that is missing is Stack Next, in our opinion. Um, how will Web3 integration look like for the browser? What wallets will be added? Can you develop a cold storage? Yeah. So about this Web3 being a Web3 browser that we mentioned many times, in the beginning, we thought that, we believe in this technology. Web3 is the future for sure. So stepping into this would be great. In the beginning, we thought that Web3 browser means to have a wallet inside or to have this like the Ethereum domain support and this kind of stuff. But then we realized that Web3 browser means a browser that is using like uh, the smart contract in order to work, like in order to run the application. So in our case, if we build this infrastructure where you buy NFT, you activate in the product, and then you get unique experience in the product, I think that's already a Web3 browser, right? Of course, like those classical things like wallets and these things will be added, but that will be added very carefully. Do we really need another wallet for crypto? There are tons of them. Should it be just a extension? So we will challenge a lot those kind of questions. What should be added and what should not? But I think, in my opinion, like the browser that is using smart contract in order to function is already a Web3 browser. What security is built into the Stack browser? Is it similar to any browser on the market? Absolutely. Stack is using Chromium. And the security layer is not something like on top. We will build some extra layer of security and privacy. We'll be very strict with the applications that is asking the permission of the microphone and the camera and this kind of stuff. That's what we can build on top. But all the security, like core security things, are on the Chromium side. The only thing we are doing is like staying up to date to the latest version of the Chromium. That is more than enough for the security purposes. What will happen to the rest of the NFTs when the mint is closed? And I assume the metadata will be finally revealed. From what I understand, won't affect the unminted ones too. Would they be burned, or will they still be able to be sold on a later date? A perfect question for the last one. Or it's not the last one. Yeah, we don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I mean, based on what I just showed you, what I was talking about, you got the idea that Stack NFT is not a classical NFT project, like not classical, but how to say, art JPEG NFT collection, right? It's NFT is used as a technology inside the product. So we don't know what to do there yet. We don't have clear answer, and I don't know. We will communicate about that with you once we have something, and we'll get feedback from you, and probably we'll decide based on all the inputs that we will get. And for your business, is your target to ship and enterprise products as a solution to improve workflow efficiency, or is it a home user program for personal use? Both. I understand you would like to charge for their service, but what makes this stand out as a payable option versus free browsers? So, yeah, enterprise might sound little scary for me, at least. So the main business model of Stack will be for teams. So as a personal use, if you are using Stack for your personal purposes, it will be always free. And enterprise for me sounds like, I don't know, the banks and this kind of stuff. I don't think, at least in the near future, we have any plans to work with them. But we want to work with the teams, like startups like us, like people up to 50 employees, 100 employees, you know. But the main business model will be based on the teams. Like collaboration will be paid feature. Like you, like an office, you have an office and you rent it out per seat, and that seats will be paid. But if you're using for your personal purposes, there won't be any charges. Okay, thank you. Linux. Yes, the about good thing about Linux is that the technology that we chose gives us option to compile our application on Linux as well. It just because of a very little number of users, it's not a priority because it brings extra maintenance cost. So I hope once we get a little stable financially, and like the next Stack Next also becomes more stable, we will get back to Linux for sure. 100 questions. Oh my God. Yeah, thank you for our webinar, guys. I think it would be great to create a channel that will be for community questions, just like the feedback, since there is a most like tons of, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for us. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. It feels super great. I mean, it's been 1.5 years. We've been locked inside our garage, working hard on the product, and we lost this connection and the touch with our users, with our people, with our stackers, and like the fact that it's getting back, it's something that you cannot describe with words. So thank you very much. It was super great talking with you, and yeah, this is just the beginning of this journey. Thank you very much.